Is it a bad day? Is it a bad life? Or is it a bad moment? And I had just heard that recently from a podcast episode I was listening to, where I heard it somewhere. And what an amazing way to think about life. I've had bad days, and I've had bad days that I've let marinate over time and got to this point where I've poisoned my thinking. I've allowed myself to poison my own thinking into that this is a bad life. But really, I just had a bad moment. And instead of taking a look at things from a larger perspective and taking myself out of the situation, or looking at the opportunity to learn in the situation, or looking at blaming myself as the point of failure, I marinated and stewed and just let it fester until I got to this point where either I exploded or I broke down and just all this stuff. Had I known, and let me just say this, that everything I've experienced has got me to right here. And I wouldn't take anything back because I like who I am and I like where I'm going by doing the things that I continue to do. And I'm looking for the ways to improve and get better and grow and scale and take advantage of life. But had I known to extend it a bit further, or take it down another sub level, and just look at it from, is this a bad moment? And then approach it or attack it and take it from that perspective. I'm just going to try to focus on myself when I answer these questions, but I just have never thought about it as, is this a bad moment? And if you think about it, every day is a blank canvas. So you have 24 hours or however many hours to paint the story of your life. And some of those paintings, some of those days are going to be like Jackson Pollock's, where you're like, there's something here. I don't know what it was. It was a character building day, but that's all I can take away from it. And then other days are going to be beautiful Van Gogh or Rembrandt's or whoever your painter of choice, Banksy, whoever your artist of choice is, but like just this beautiful memory of a day that was executed well. It was just incredibly focused. When I hit my head at the end of the day, I just like, yes, today was a good day. But I have had so many bad days where I would ask myself, is this a bad life? And do I belong here? And why am I here? And it was a lot of hard work to get out of that mentality. But man, what an opening to, this is a bad moment. And I can continue to stew in this moment, or I can look at it from a higher perspective or a larger perspective and reflect back on, where was the failures, who's at fault, what could I have done differently to navigate this roadmap a little differently. There's all these different things that I can look at when I'm in a bad moment and try to understand where the failure happened, and then recognize and become aware of that failure and what I can do to make sure that there are procedures in place to eliminate the failure as much as possible. And I think that's where growth is going to happen. The bad moments, I just like, that blew my mind, and it shouldn't have. I'm so surprised. And if you haven't heard that before, hopefully you just think about it. If you're in a rough situation, and everyone's going to have a bad day, everyone's going to have a bad experience, and they're going to come up against life's curveballs, and take a look at that. Take a look at that moment. Is this something that you want to have affect you long term? And if not, then look at what went wrong, or the situation. Try to take yourself out of it, and look at it from a different perspective. It's not easy. Life isn't easy. There's always this opportunity to be better than who we were yesterday. And that's something that I strive. Like, every day is a blank canvas. I try to grow 1% better every day. I've started to try to implement no more 0 days. It's like every day I'm going to do something to better myself health wise. Work out until I sweat, and then do something that gets me closer to my goals. And I happen to love both those things. So why not do it every day? If you're listening and this resonated with you, cool. Thanks for listening. I'm just kind of testing something out, sharing my thoughts and answering some questions, and I just want to give the perspective from my point of view. And we're all on different paths. I think we are all on different paths. We're all unique to our own selves, but I really think that a lot of our paths are parallel to each other, and we're having similar thoughts or similar concepts or similar ideas, and it's just, do we have the courage to implement them? Do we have the courage to create? Do we have the courage to move forward? I look at life, and maybe it's a midlife crisis type thing. I don't know, but it's just, time is so precious, and we don't have a lot of it, and it's not guaranteed. And I want to become the best person that I can be. So if I linger on bad moments, and those bad moments turn into bad days, how much of my life is going to be eaten away at this bad thing? And I've been in that situation where I let something destroy me for 2 years, and I never want to go back to that. I just got to look at the bad moments and recognize that they are just a bad moment, and I can easily stand up, brush myself off, and get back to work and get back moving forward. Keep the end in sight. Keep the goal in mind. Keep working towards my dream.